Hey guys, how's it going? It's Ben here from GameReview.com, and in today's episode of Free to Play Friday we are going to be covering Realm Royale, or more strictly the alpha version of Realm Royale. So bear in mind this is an early access game, it is an alpha, things are subject to change. All the information in this video is accurate up to the 25th of September, which is when I made the recordings. So as far as I know, all the information is accurate up to that point. If there's anything you believe I've got incorrect, or anything you feel I need to clarify or make sure I've got that right, please let me know. Otherwise, I think all that info is correct up to that point, so obviously things may change. So Realm Royale, it's another free-to-play third-person battle royale game. You can grab this on Steam, no cost at all to actually play it. You can just download it and jump straight onto it. I know the battle royale market is a very, very saturated market. There's a lot of titles going on, and there's stuff like Fortnite or Battlegrounds. You've got numerous titles coming out, but this is a free-to-play title, so it's maybe worth having a look at, giving it a shot, and you've got nothing to lose. You're not losing any money, so maybe give it a go. So I'm going to jump into a game in a second. I'll have a brief cut. One thing I will say straight from the off is if I hit play, currently in the game, as I say, things are subject to change. There is only squad games available at the moment, so it's 6-man squads. It does say coming soon for ranked solo and duo, and ranked duo games as well, but for the time being, there are only squad games available. So just sort of make you aware of that at that current space in time. Other than that, we're going to have a brief cut. I'm going to jump straight into a squad game. So this is our airship. We're going to be jumping onto the map from this. So if you hold tab, you can bring up the map when you're flying the airship, which is the yellow arrow. So people on your team will start making markers. You can see in the top left of the screen, and that's where basically they're saying they want to jump. So I'm going to press space to jump out with the team. I want to go up there as well. And you can see when you leave a mark on the map, it's going to leave a beam of light, actually physically, that you can see now. So it's quite a useful tool. Just makes it obvious where everyone is going to jump. They've kind of pinpointed these particular spots. So we're just going to fly up quite a long way. There's the arrows on the map, which are just gliding towards there. So there's no parachute, unlike in Battlegrounds or a couple of other games. So you can just pinpoint your landing. You do kind of a ground pound attack when you hit the ground. You're not going to take any damage or anything like that, so you can land pretty much wherever you like. So it looks like we picked a spot that's quite far from the line of the airship as well, so it's probably a bit quieter, makes it easier to explain some of the mechanics, and we're probably less likely to encounter anyone. So that's where I've landed, so I'm going to go up to some chests and see if I can grab some gear. So fairly good start. So I've got myself a second slot weapon, which is this burst rifle. I've got myself in the number 4 slot is the utilitarian. It's called the offhand slot, which is basically kind of abilities. So it can be sort of grenades, turrets, shields, kind of like support abilities. In that case, I've got a sensor drone, so I can throw that out. If there's any enemies in its radius, it will highlight them for me, which is quite a useful tool for the team. So what's going to highlight the abilities? So 10 players are already dead, so we started with 80. So I'm going to run in and grab some pieces of gear. So the firebomb, I've got the option of taking that. However, I've instead chosen to disenchant that. So basically what that means is in my number 4 slot, I've got the sensor. That firebomb is also number 4 slot. I can only have one, so I decided I wanted to keep the sensor and disenchant the other thing. In this case, this shield ore, I'm going to do the same. So what I mean by disenchanting is if you press X on it, if there's a piece of gear you don't want, or you've already got something in that slot you think is better, for every reason you don't want it, you can press X, you will disenchant it, and you will get yourself some shards, which you can see the count of in the bottom left corner, just above the health and armor bar. So I've got 9 at the moment. And what those allow you to do, you can collect all those shards and all the stuff you don't want. You can later on go to a forge, and you can use that to craft yourself some nice pieces of gear. So basically, even if it's a piece of, you find an item you don't want, if you end up getting loads of good gear and you keep stumbling across pieces of items or just pieces of gear you don't want to use, you can just get rid of them, get yourself some shards, and you can use that to craft yourself some useful stuff later on. And there's a little crab there, that's a nice little touch. I haven't actually seen that before. Little crab going around. So it looks like not too many crates around here, so we haven't got that many pieces of gear. So we're going to go to maybe these houses, and then we'll just slowly work our way through the map. Probably staying together is just generally the best idea, and we can sort of progress from there. A few crates over here I can go from. So these are kind of more boxy crates, they're the health and armor potions. I've got a few nuggets as well. Nuggets are the free-to-play currency, you can use that in the shop to buy a few cosmetic things. And now here I've got myself a rune, which you can see I've just equipped in the slot in the bottom left, so you get 6 rune slots. Those are passive upgrades. I've got myself one that's a steady armor upgrade, so you can see in the bottom left my armor counter is going up. So you start at full health, which is 1500. Armor, you only start at 500, so you're going to have to use armor potions, or another way such as the passive armor thing I've just picked up. That's going to regenerate armor for me, which is really nice because I don't have to use my armor potions. And just in a fight I'm going to get a bit of regeneration if I can get some cover, which is good. Now you may have noticed when I picked up that new weapon in my number 2 slot, this one's got a purple border as opposed to the white border. And the sensor I've got in the number 4 slot has also got a white border. Now what that denotes is the level or the rank of kind of gear you're using in that slot. So for example, White is the lowest level, so my sensor was white and the previous weapon I had was white. Rare is green, which is the next level above that, so a rare shotgun will do more damage than a white shotgun, which is the lowest level. Above that you've got the purple, like my SMG I've got in the number 2 slot now, and that rune I picked up was purple as well, which is epic. And the highest level is legendary, which is orange. So basically, if you get the same type of weapon but you get a higher rank, it's going to be more effective than that. Same with the offhand abilities, and same with the movement abilities, which is the F slot, which I haven't actually picked up yet. But basically each weapon and ability, movement or otherwise, has a rank to it. So for example, if I had a green sensor as opposed to a white one, it might last a bit longer, it might have a slightly lower cooldown, it might have a bigger radius. If I've got a say an epic level movement ability, which is purple, it would say last longer, I'd jump further, or I'd have lower cooldown than a white level or a green level. So basically you want to keep note of kind of the levels of the abilities you're finding. So I've just found a green level, which is rare movement ability there, which is Ghost Walk, which is really nice. If you press F, you'll get a bit more speed and you'll kind of become invulnerable for a bit. So if you're in a spot, you can kind of hit that and just kind of get a little bit of time to get yourself out of dodge. So I've got rare level, which is green for that. So if I had an epic level, it might last a bit longer, it might move a bit quicker. So generally just the better gear you have, they kind of give yourselves a more chance on paper of coming out on top in a fight. You want to get kind of the highest ranking gear you can find. That's going to give you the best option. So we're just moving in towards the map. You see that big white circle on the map? You may have seen something similar on a game like Battlegrounds, or pretty much every Battle Royale game has a similar-ish mechanic. And basically what that does is, that white circle, you can see the red circle in the top left corner of the map actually slowly converging in. What that means is that white circle is the next safe zone. So eventually, after a couple of minutes, you can see it in the top right, that fog is moving in. While that fog moves in, it's going to enclose and it's going to stop when it hits that white circle. If you get caught on the other side of that fog, you're going to start taking damage over time. And so basically you need to keep an eye on where that circle is. You need to get to the next circle without waiting too long, otherwise you're going to be in a bit of trouble because you're going to start taking fog damage. So the map keeps getting smaller and smaller. So we've found some guys here, so that's my sensor drone going off. So maybe if I had a slightly higher ranking sensor drone, it would last a little bit longer than that. It might cover a bigger area. But that's just showing off, it's going to show off where those guys are in that building. So we've got ourselves into a fight. Didn't get too much damage on. Looks like my crew are kind of slowly moving in as well. So we've only got a few guys left. That guy's just ghost walked into me. This is what I had. I'm going to ghost walk out. So that's a good example of that. Just makes you invulnerable, gets you out of dodge. See him there with the sensor. There's a guy around to the left, and my teammate's moving in, so maybe we can converge on him here. Got a few hits. Going to ghost walk out, just makes you invulnerable, and then just you can get out of dodge. He's using it as well. Now he's run out. He's quite out in the open. Overextended there. Yes, my colleague is a chicken, as is this guy. And there's a good reason for that. Basically, whenever anyone dies, you don't go into bleed out, you don't die immediately, but you do go into chicken form. If you get taken into chicken form, you're going to start running around as a chicken. So you can see my colleague is still alive. You can't fight in that mode, you get about 1,000 health, no armour, and if you can survive long enough, you will then revive. So basically that encourages players to actually kind of finish off their kills. You can't just snipe someone from kind of really far away and expect to finish them off. You actually have to go in and finish off a kill, otherwise they are going to regenerate. Also means in a big team fight, if your teammates can protect you enough, they can actually make sure you get back into the fight. So that guy managed to run into a building, and we were kind of still there to deal with the other guy. So this guy on his own is going to get taken out. However, if he had some teammates around left, they might have been able to save him just by keeping us busy. So you've got to make a choice of whether or not you finish a guy as a chicken, or you kind of deal with his other teammates. So just as another little layer of strategy, and just gives you another chance if you're kind of cunning enough to kind of survive that, and it looks quite funny as well. So this is the forge. I was talking about this a bit earlier on. So these are all the shards we've picked up. We can use these to spend some money at the forge. You can see the timers going, and the forge is quite loud, so people are generally going to know when you're using it. Also, that little circular timer you saw there of one of my teammates creating something. So that's the timer. So each item takes a certain number of shards and a certain amount of time to create as well. And basically what that means is that timer you saw ticking down, that is actually visible to enemies as well as our team. So if you start using a forge to create some items, that was one of my teammates, thought it was an enemy for a second, you're going to have to make sure you defend it long enough to be able to pick it up, and also you're going to be careful about where you forge stuff, because if you forge stuff in a really busy area with loads of other teams around it, they're going to see you're forging stuff, they're going to converge on your position, because firstly, they don't want you resurrecting your teammates or getting really nice pieces of gear. They want to get it for themselves, and they know you're there when they may not have done. So when you start forging stuff, these guys, probably a bit further away, they wouldn't be able to see the timer from that far, but they have just caught on to where we are. So if they were a bit closer but they didn't know we were there, they probably would have seen the timer of the forging items going around. So it looks like I've got to defend my team here. Got this hill to protect me and I get a bit of a kind of flanking position. The drone's going to highlight where they are for me as well. So it looks like we managed to resurrect our guys because we went out, we managed to get a couple of guys back. So it looks like my other living teammates had enough shards. We could resurrect our team, but they've got to be careful. They need about 30 to 40 seconds before they actually come back. And they need to defend that. And then as soon as someone sees that timer, they're probably going to converge on you because they don't want you resurrecting your teammates or getting any nice pieces of gear. So it's a good little balance mechanic of being able to get some really nice pieces of gear, but you have to be able to defend it for long enough and carefully enough to actually make it count, because other people can come in and steal your gear, and you don't want that happening. I'm not doing any serious damage to these guys. Looks like they didn't get picked up on the sensor there, so it looks like they may have just run off. So you can see I got maximum of 1500 health and maximum 1500 armour. So you can see the timer from an outside position, so you can see the timer through walls as well, so you don't need direct line of sight. And that is some armour potions that the person's picked up. I'm going to make some as well. Because the armour is the first thing that goes, it's generally the first thing you want to recover. So I need 22 seconds to get that on, so if they're still in the area, they're still going to know we're here. Looks like we're still under fire. Ah, here we go, there's one guy there. Taking fire from 2 different angles as well.
Got one of us.
Try and go for a flank with my Ghost Walk. It's done me quite well so far. I'm quite a big fan of Ghost Walk. This guy may not know I'm here. Just managed to make it out of that fight. So we pop some healing potions. Looks like we're under a bit of fire there. Both my teammates are going into chicken form. Ghost Walk again to get out before you do not want to be hit by a sword. They do a lot of damage, obviously very close range. Been knocked out by the grenade launcher. Looks like it's going to be my end of days. And got taken out quite quickly there. A lot of guys, a lot of nice gear these guys seem to have. Did a good job of taking us out. So it looks like I think I've just got a pretty good fight. It looks like this is my last man standing on our team. Knocked into chicken mode. It looks like unfortunately we got kind of outplayed by these guys. Did a good job of taking us out, but I think overall I think we did okay. So there's 22 people left. Look at him go. It's good for 8.1 seconds left. I don't think he would have made it because you respawn out of chicken mode on about half health. So it was a good effort. I got an elimination for myself. I think I didn't embarrass myself at all. Team got taken out. 21 players left in the top right. So coming in that position out of 80 is I think a respectable enough position. So it looks like we did okay. So I've just gone into spectator mode, so you can spectate the rest of the game if you want and just see how it plays out. In this case, I don't think we need to do that. I think we'll just end the video there. I think we've done a good enough idea what's going on. We'll just say at the last second here, you can see the red circle, which is the fog. That's just coming in at the top of the mini-map, so you don't want to be caught on the other side of that because you're going to start taking damage. And you're going to look like a bit of an idiot, so you do not want to get caught by that. Other than that, I think that explains everything well enough. If you've got any more questions, please leave a comment below. I will answer them the best I can. Hopefully I've been clear enough for you. Other than that, as I say, if you like the video, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Also, please check out the main GameReview.com website. We've got loads of articles on there. Any views on that, any feedback, any comments would be really nice as well. We're still kind of trying to build up the site and the channel. Other than that, leave a like or subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much indeed.